China just released 3 AI video generators that are completely free, require zero sign-up, and are fully open source. And before you scroll past thinking this is just another overhyped tech announcement, let me be very clear about what is actually happening here. These tools are not demos. They are not wait lists. They are not free trials with a credit card attached. You can go right now, download them, and start generating video. No account, no email, no subscription. Just raw, functional AI video generation sitting on your machine. The Western AI companies have been charging anywhere from $20 a month to hundreds of dollars for enterprise plans to do exactly what these tools do. China just made all of that free. And this changes the game for every creator, developer, and small business owner watching this video today. So let us break down exactly what these 3 tools are, what they can actually do, how to access them, and who each one is best suited for. Because they are not all the same. They have different strengths, different use quality levels, and different hardware requirements. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which one fits your workflow and how to get started immediately. Now before we jump in, I want to set realistic expectations because hype without honesty is useless. These tools are powerful. Some of them are genuinely jaw-dropping, but they also have limitations. Running open source AI video generation locally requires decent hardware. We are talking about GPU memory requirements that not every laptop can handle. But here is the thing. For those of you with a capable machine or access to cloud compute, the ceiling on what you can build with these tools is extraordinary. And even if your hardware is limited, there are ways to run some of these through free cloud environments like Google Colab. So stick around because we are covering all of that. Let us start with the first tool, and this one has been making serious noise across the developer community since its release. We are talking about Wan 2.1, developed by Alibaba's research team. Now when I say Alibaba, I know some of you immediately think about e-commerce, but their AI research division has been quietly building some of the most competitive models in the world. Wan 2. Wan is a text-to-video and image-to-video generation model that has been released under an open-source license, which means the weights, the code, the architecture, all of it is publicly available on platforms like Hugging Face and GitHub. What makes Wan 2.1 genuinely impressive is the quality of motion it produces. One of the biggest criticisms of early AI video generation was that objects moved in ways that looked deeply unnatural. Hands morphed. Physics broke down completely. Backgrounds melted into each other. Wan 2.1 has made significant strides in temporal consistency, which is the technical way of saying that things actually move in a coherent way from one frame to the next. Characters walk without their legs becoming abstract shapes. Objects interact with surfaces in ways that at least approximate real physics. This is not perfect, but it is dramatically better than what we were seeing from open-source tools even 6 months ago. The model comes in different sizes. There is a lighter version that can run on consumer-grade GPUs with around 8 GB of VRAM, and there is a more powerful version that requires significantly more compute. For reference, if you have an RTX 3080 or better, you are likely in the range where the lighter version runs smoothly. The outputs are typically short clips, usually around 3 to 5 seconds at this point, but the quality within those seconds is competitive with paid tools that many creators are using today. The use case that Wan 2.1 absolutely excels at is product visualization. If you are a small business owner, a freelancer doing brand work, or someone creating content for e-commerce, the ability to take a product image and generate cinematic motion around it, panning shots, atmospheric lighting shifts, subtle object movement, is genuinely useful. Previously, getting that kind of content required either expensive software subscriptions or hiring a motion graphics team. That barrier is now significantly lowered. Accessing Wan 2.1 is straightforward. Head to Hugging Face, search for the Wan 2.1 model page, and you will find the model weights along with community-built interfaces that make running it much more accessible than raw command line execution. There are also pre-built Gradio interfaces floating around the community that give you a simple browser-based UI to work with. If you are not comfortable with Python environments, I would suggest looking for a Pinocchio deployment, which is a tool that automates the installation process for many open-source AI applications and makes getting something like Wan 2.1 running feel much closer to installing a regular app. Alright, tool number 2. This one comes from a different direction entirely, and honestly, when I first saw the outputs, I had to double-check whether I was looking at AI-generated content or actual footage. The second tool is Cog Video X, developed by the team at Jipu AI, which is a Beijing-based artificial intelligence company backed by some significant investment from Chinese tech giants. Cog Video X has also been open-sourced, and it pushes the frontier in a very specific and exciting way. Where WAN 2.1 leans into product and general scene generation, Cog Video X has shown particularly strong performance with human subjects, and that is historically where AI video has fallen apart most spectacularly. If you have spent any time playing with AI video generators over the past couple of years, you know that generating convincing human movement is enormously difficult. The uncanny valley effect kicks in hard. People move in slightly wrong ways. Facial expressions glitch. Eye contact feels off. Cog Video X has trained on a dataset and with an architecture that shows measurably better results in this area. The facial coherence across frames is noticeably more stable. People blink more naturally. Lip synchronization in generated speech scenarios holds together better. This is not to say it is flawless because it absolutely is not, but the improvement is significant enough to be genuinely useful for content creators who want to feature human-like subjects in their work. The practical applications here are wide open. Think talking head-style content, fictional character presentations, storytelling videos, social media content that features people without requiring an actual video shoot. For independent content creators, this is a legitimately powerful new option. The model is available through Hugging Face as well, and Jipu AI has set up a dedicated space where you can test it with limited compute directly in your browser before committing to a local installation. This is actually a great way to validate whether the tool fits your needs before going through the setup process on your own machine. Hardware requirements for Cog Video X land in a similar range to WAN 2.1, though the larger variants of the model push into higher VRAM territory. The community has been active in producing quantized versions that reduce memory requirements significantly while maintaining much of the quality. Quantization, for those unfamiliar, is essentially a technique that compresses the model so it needs less memory to run without totally sacrificing output quality. If you are running on a mid-range GPU, searching for the quantized version of Cog Video X is the move. One thing I really want to highlight about Cog Video X is the licensing situation. Jipu AI has released this under terms that are quite permissive for commercial use, which is not always the case with open-source AI models. Some models are free for personal use but require licensing agreements for commercial applications. Cog Video X's current licensing terms are relatively creator-friendly, and that matters enormously if you are thinking about building products or services on top of this technology. Always verify the current license terms yourself before building anything commercial, because these things do get updated, but as of now, the terms have been favorable. Okay, tool number 3, and this is the one that I think will genuinely surprise most people watching this video, because it represents something we have not really seen before in the open-source video generation space. The third tool is Hunyuan Video, released by Tencent. Yes, that Tencent. The company behind WeChat and a massive portfolio of games and digital services. Their AI research team has been working on video generation, and Hunyuan Video is the result they have chosen to release to the public as an open model. What makes Hunyuan Video stand out is its handling of longer video sequences and scene transitions. Most AI video generation tools struggle severely when you push beyond a few seconds. The video either degrades in quality, loses coherence with earlier frames, or just starts doing unpredictable things. Hunyuan Video has specifically been engineered to maintain consistency over longer durations. We are still talking about relatively short clips by traditional video production standards, but the ability to generate 10 to 15 seconds of coherent video rather than 3 to 5 seconds opens up meaningfully different creative possibilities. For storytelling content, for explainer videos, for social media clips that actually have a narrative arc rather than just a single motion, that extra duration matters a lot. You can string together a sequence of Hunyuan Video outputs that flows in a way that shorter clips from other generators simply cannot match. And because the model understands scene context better over time, the transition points between clips tend to be less jarring when you are building a longer cut. Tencent has made Hunyuan Video available through Hugging Face, and similarly to the other tools we have discussed, there are community deployments and wrapper interfaces that make it accessible without requiring deep technical expertise. The hardware requirements are on the heavier side compared to the lighter versions of our first two tools, so be prepared for that. If you are running on a machine with 16 gigabytes of VRAM or better, you will have a smooth experience. Below that, you will want to look for community-optimized versions, or consider running it through a cloud environment. The generation quality in terms of visual fidelity is excellent. Tencent has clearly invested in training data curation and model architecture in ways that produce outputs with strong lighting coherence, good color grading, and cinematic composition that often does not require much post-processing. If you are going to use any of these three tools as a starting point for more polished video content that you then touch up in a traditional editing suite, Hunyuan Video's outputs are probably the cleanest baseline to work from. Now let us talk about the bigger picture for a moment, because the release of these three tools within a relatively tight window is not a coincidence. This is a deliberate strategic move. The Chinese AI ecosystem has been developing at extraordinary speed, and one of the primary mechanisms they are using to build global influence and adoption is open sourcing high-quality models. It is working. The global developer community is downloading, fine-tuning, building products on top of, and evangelizing these tools. Every GitHub star, every Hugging Face download, every YouTube video covering these releases extends the reach of that strategy. This is not a political video, and I am not here to tell you what to think about geopolitics. But you should understand the context because it helps you understand why these tools are free when Western equivalents cost real money. This is market development. It is community building at a global scale. And as a creator or developer, you are a beneficiary of that dynamic right now. The practical question many of you are asking is, how does the output quality of these free tools actually compare to paid options like Runway, Sora, or Pika? And the honest answer is that it depends on what you are doing. For raw generation quality on short clips with a simple prompt, the gap has narrowed dramatically. The paid tools still have advantages in terms of interface polish, reliability, uptime, additional features like audio sync and extended generation lengths, and in some cases output resolution. But for the core task of generating video from text or image prompts, these open-source Chinese models are genuinely competitive. That is a statement I would not have been able to make with confidence 12 months ago. For creators operating on tight budgets, for developers building prototypes, for researchers exploring the space, and for anyone who values running AI locally without their prompts being sent to a corporate server, these tools are an incredibly compelling option right now. The privacy angle is actually underappreciated. Running these models locally means your creative prompts and your generated content stay on your machine. That is a real advantage for certain professional and creative workflows. Let me give you a quick practical framework for choosing between the three tools based on your situation. If you are focused on product content, brand visualization, and general scene generation, start with WAN 2. 1. Its motion quality and relative accessibility on mid-range hardware make it a strong everyday tool. If your content involves human subjects, talking head-style videos, character-driven narratives, or social media content that features people, give Cog Video X priority. Its superiority in human subject generation makes it the right specialized tool for that job. And if you are building longer narrative content, creating video sequences that need to maintain coherence over more than 5 seconds, or you want the cleanest visual baseline for post-production work, Hunyuan Video is your starting point. You do not have to pick just one. These are all free. You can have all three installed and switch between them depending on the project. That flexibility is one of the most powerful aspects of working with open-source tools rather than subscription platforms where you are locked into whatever features the platform decides to offer you. Before we wrap up, let me address the most common concern that comes up when people discuss these tools, which is the question of whether they are good enough for professional work yet. And my honest answer is that it depends entirely on how you define professional and what the work is. Are these tools ready to replace a full production video team on a broadcast commercial? No. Are they ready to produce polished social media content, YouTube B-roll, concept visualization, and creative experimentation at a level that was previously far more expensive to achieve? Absolutely yes. The ceiling for what open source AI video can do is rising fast, and the tools releasing right now are already useful in real professional contexts today. If you found this video genuinely useful, and I think you did because you just watched the whole thing, hit subscribe because we cover these open source AI developments as they happen. I do not wait for something to be mainstream before I cover it. I cover it when it matters to creators and developers, which is right now, at the leading edge. Drop a comment below letting me know which of these 3 tools you are most excited to try. I read every single comment, and it genuinely helps me understand what content to create next. And if you want to see a hands-on tutorial where I actually generate video with each of these tools and compare the outputs side by side, let me know in the comments and I will make that video next. See you in the next one.